That was just another Thursday night. A group of people were voicing out for us along broadcast drive as usual, including my interviewee, Mr. Lam Chiu Wing. He said we can call him Superman Lam. Why? Because everybody does. The interview with Superman began after he had finished recording one of the RTHK programs, The Headliner. Usually I would refuse to do stand-up comedy on stage, because it just takes so much time to prepare for the script. Well, maybe the scripts are okay, but having a live performance troubles me a lot because I'm not a professional actor at all. But in year 2003, I was invited to perform in a big stand-up comedy show in Hong Kong Coliseum as a guest. The audience loved it, so it gave me confidence to do it again when my colleague in RTHK organized a two-night stand-up comedy shows again in the last February. We performed like amateurs on the first night, but everything went well when we improvised more later. You know, we just enjoy ourselves because we are not really famous as a stand-up comedian. The opportunity cost is quite low for us. But most importantly, doing stand-up is exciting. We need to fine-tune our way of performance for different groups of audience even if we got a nice script. I prepared the scripts for the MCs or guests in many occasions. For example, some movie award presentation ceremony when you need to be funny. But they got to do it in their own way, delivering the punchlines with their style. This is also the difficult part to be humorous on stage. Some performers tend to say dirty jokes to make us laugh, while stand-up comedians like Dale Wong love to play around the current affairs. What do you think about that? I guess both ways are fine. It's totally about the theme of performance. Let's say my stand-up show in February. The chief executive election was the hottest news in town, so we tried to merge current affairs in our show. Moreover, it depends on what kind of performers we are. My partners include some radio program host and even a doctor. That's why we stick to the news and politics. You know, people will perceive this as humor instead of some stupid jokes when you talk about politics. So we're kind of like a high-class comedian. When did you start working for Headliner? 1997. It should be June 1997, but I was filming in mainland at that time. So the producers told me to report to work 3 months later. Anyway, I started working for the Headliner in November that year, almost a decade from that time. But my impression of Hanover was not that strong. It didn't excite me because we were overwhelmed by those Hanover discussions at that time. When I took a break in the late June 1997, my crew in mainland China told me that when you come back to work, you will become a Chinese instead of a Hong Konger. I guess it's kind of warm to say that. I would like to improve my skills to write jokes and performance techniques. Headliner is so different from an average TV gag show, as everything is in a hurry. We start filming tonight and the segment will be broadcasted by tomorrow. Due to the time constraint, we can't manage too many visual effects, so we have to compensate it with our funny performance. We do spend time to study about the arts of gag. The most unforgettable thing about Headliner would be the time when I make fun of the Hong Kong government with the Middle East terrorist group after September 11. The incident truly got to the nerves of the authority. You know, it's just funny to get on the headline news because of the Headliner program. After working for Headliner for 10 years and even longer in the media industry as a whole, do you feel the restraint of freedom of speech or expression? I believe the freedom of speech is okay in Hong Kong. I've been writing for some political programs in commercial radio stations. No one would bother us, but people would be more sensitive when the same things happen on RTHK. Under the leadership of our former chief executive, Mr. Tung Chi-hua, the government was a little bit weak, and people just keep blaming him. After making fun of Tung's administration with terrorists in 2001, what I said became more sensitive, and someone from the management level would recommend me not to go too far whenever I got some jokes about Tung. I just don't want to make them difficult and stuck in between, so I tried my best not to keep talking about Tung. It is the time when I feel a little bit upset by that. It's better now. the atmosphere is quite free. But the problem is, it's hard to find a simple villain in our Hong Kong story. This kind of character is important in writings to serve as the bullseyes, especially for political jokes. Before we have tone, and people would all get it when we laugh at him. But now the opinion of the government is less united. Some say it's good, some say it's bad. We just can't get to the juxtaposition to make fun of the government. Therefore, the theme of our political jokes shift to something more complicated nowadays, like the discussion of universal suffrage, and the explosive effect of political jokes declined for quite a bit. How do you feel about the hottest topic in town, the 10th anniversary of handover? Are you excited by that? That's a tough one. Because I kind of feel nothing on that issue. Yeah, I know this is bad, but I was asked to write something about the 10th anniversary of Hanover, but I don't even have a clue. It's funny that I feel so strongly that I have to get people involved in social development in year 2003. But in year 2007, I'm simply not in the mood for Hanover. Maybe I'm so occupied these days that I don't have time to recall all the memories of the past 10 years. Simply have no time to sort out all my feelings these days. Is he really that busy? Yes. Superman was heading to a meeting right after my interview. Before he left, Superman did not forget to promote his latest story that criticized some social phenomena in Hong Kong. There's really a lot going on his mind. While the American Superman is busy saving lives, the Superman on Broadcast Drive is busy joking around in a serious manner to raise our awareness to our society. Way to go, Superman!